On the 26th of December, I tested positive for COVID. I was in complete shock and denial when my doctor phoned me with the results of the test. My initial symptoms had been very mild. I thought I had sinusitis. I had blocked sinuses and a severe headache and a slight shortness of breath, but it didn't bother me at the time. So when my results came back, I was absolutely shocked. I immediately went into isolation. I'd already isolated from the 25th of December because I hadn't been feeling well. So I immediately went into official isolation. And the first thing my doctor recommended was for me to get an oximeter, which is a little device which tells you your oxygen saturation levels. You put your index finger in and it gives you a reading. I was in constant contact with my doctor and sent her my oxygen level readings twice a day so that she could monitor my progress. After 3 days of my initial symptoms of the headache and the flu-like symptoms, I unfortunately experienced difficulty breathing. I immediately let my doctor know, and she sent me for a chest x-ray, which revealed that I had contracted pneumonia. Unfortunately, there's not much that can be done, although she did put me on a course of cortisone, which assisted with the inflammation. And I just had to continue monitoring my symptoms and allow my body to heal. During this time, I also was taking vitamins C, D, zinc, and half a disprin as well. I then monitored my progress. What I did experience during this time was severe anxiety. I live on my own in a block of flats, so I was completely on my own during this very, very difficult period. You experience enormous anxiety because of the uncertainty. You're not sure what is going to happen to you. And especially when my breathing became difficult, I was extremely anxious. I was lucky enough to have incredibly supportive friends who were in contact with me every day to find out how I was and how I was doing, and took the time to send me messages, not always phoning me because I was often very tired and didn't feel like speaking, but just having them check in on me every day. What was also very helpful was having them drop off meals outside my front door. Pre-cooked meals, because you certainly don't feel like cooking at a time like this, but you need your strength and you need to eat. What was also very helpful for me was advice from my doctor to sleep on your stomach if you are experiencing breathing difficulty. This really helps to open up the lungs and allows you to breathe. It's not always comfortable, but you can do it with a pillow under your chest. So do try to sleep on your chest if you are experiencing difficulty breathing. Try to also do exercises by exhaling completely and slowly drawing in breath. Another very good exercise I found was to take a straw and a large jug of water and blow bubbles in there, also to assist with your lungs. Yes, I would say that this virus attacks you physically but also mentally, and you need to be mentally strong. And again, I say my support from my friends, colleagues who sent messages of encouragement was just absolutely invaluable. Being on your own and dealing with COVID-19 is not easy. 14 days of isolation on your own is not easy. Your mind begins to play games with you. You are fixated on your symptoms. You wonder if you are going to live. You wonder if you are going to stop breathing during the night. There's so much uncertainty. I had to be really strong to see myself through this time, mentally strong. I would say one of the first things that I did is I actually stopped listening to the news on the radio or the television. I found it to be very depressing, hearing about how many COVID deaths there were, about hearing how there wasn't oxygen available, how there weren't hospital beds available, because of course the first thing you think is, what if I need to go to hospital and there isn't a bed? What will happen to me? I was very fortunate in that I did not need to go to hospital. My oxygen levels never dropped that low. So although I had COVID pneumonia, I was able to heal at home and get over it at home and not go to hospital. But as I said, you find there are times when you are feeling incredibly low, your morale is low, and you think that you might die. I found myself getting my will out of my drawer, putting it on the dining room table, as well as a list of important numbers and people who should be contacted if I should die. I put out extra food and water for my cat in case I should die and nobody would find me for a couple of days. All these things would go through your mind, and although I had the support of friends and family who phoned constantly and checked up on me, the worst moments were at night when I was alone and it was quiet and dark, and your brain takes over and runs through the various scenarios which are not always positive. So this is a very difficult period to deal with on your own. I also did some crazy things. I imagined the virus, and as if I was at a shooting range, and I would shoot these little pieces of virus and blow them up. And once I was better and had some energy and some breath left and I could breathe, I started dancing around my apartment as well, just to lift the spirits and to maintain a positive attitude. That was the most important thing, to not allow your mind to go off on a tangent. So yes, positive thoughts. We also know that our positive words become actions and are important in your life, to only speak the positive at the time. So what do you do to occupy your time when you are in isolation for 14 days after you've tested positive for COVID-19? I found that I had a very short concentration span. I found it difficult to read books. My mind would just go off on a tangent after 1 or 2 pages. What I found was incredibly helpful was listening to music, and I also did games such as Sudoku and other word games just to keep myself occupied. 14 days is a long time to keep yourself occupied. I found I did watch a lot of television. I tried to only watch positive things that were light, that didn't require a lot of concentration, and that would amuse me or entertain me more than anything else. The other thing which was also really, really helpful was that I have a cat who was the best companion, who was always there for me, always available for a stroke or a cuddle. And that contact, which was the only contact that I had in 14 days with anybody, apart from seeing my doctor once, was absolutely invaluable. I hope this has been helpful in some way, and I hope that you stay safe.